Alright guys, so what actually brand is all about? Well, there are as many definitions as marketers, but to me, brand is all about the feelings that customers have about certain product or service. To give an example, if I ask you to tell me 3 things that you associate with Apple brand, well, probably most of you would say something about technology, design, innovation, Steve Jobs, or maybe some Apple product like new iPhone, right? However, if we start digging deeper, then we see that Apple wants us to know that he's something more than this. Let's have a look.
Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them, but the only thing you can't do is ignore them. Because they change things. They push the human race forward. And while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
Well, I know it's quite old commercial, but it clearly shows how Apple built its brand. Did you hear anything about technology, design, or any Apple product? No, there wasn't even a single word about that. Why? Because brand is not about product. It's about how it makes people feel. And that's why Apple used a great leaders like Albert Einstein or John Lennon to persuade people that having Apple product might also allow them to think different and create big things. Now let's have a look at Nike. Well, I know I shouldn't talk much about big companies, but I think you will like this example. So, if we separate Nike as a company from Nike as a brand, we will get two different things. Because think about that. Nike as a company, it's basically athletic goods manufacturer, right? Of course they produce high quality and well-designed products, but it's still a company like many others. But if you have a look at Nike as a brand, we will see that there is something more. There's something about motivation, something about achievement, something about improving yourself. That's what Nike promotes in its commercial, very often using top athletes. So people choose Nike not only because of the product itself, but also because they want to be a part of something that Nike stands for. They want to feel this motivation. They want to achieve something. They want to get up early morning and go for a jogging because that's what Nike commercials show them. Finally, they want to have the same shoes as, for example, Roger Federer has, because then they think, wow, I have the same shoes as Roger, so I feel like I'm better at tennis now. Well, I know it sounds silly, but this is what most of people think. So again, brand is not about product. It's about how it makes people feel. Alright guys, but let's get back to small business. So imagine now that you're spending a weekend in Paris. You go to the local wine bar and order a glass of wine. Now what happens is that even if it's the same wine you got in your country, this one seems to taste better than usually. Why? Well, because you are in France, and France is famous of wine. And you are in Paris, so it must be an incredible good wine. That's what most of people think. So in this case, even a small wine bar has a brand because customers' mind associates with it something really French and unique. Well, I know you might think now, but I don't have any big company and I don't live in Paris, so maybe I don't have any brand. Well, believe me, everyone has a brand and you are not the exception. Because imagine now that you are sitting in the metro and there is another guy sitting in front of you. Even if you don't know this person, you can still judge him based on his appearance, body language, or even tone of voice. Well, I know it's not polite, but people do it. People really judge book by its cover. And they're gonna do the same with your business based on your logo, copywriting, quality of picture, etc., whether you like it or not. So we get to the point where two options. You can leave it to chance, hoping that some people will like you, or you can create a brand strategy which allows you to bring true fans. And that's exactly what we're gonna focus on in the next sections.